So greetings, what's going on? It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. I've come here to this statue at the very iconic and very well-known Lumpini Park in Bangkok, in the center of Bangkok, in the financial area of Bangkok, what some people might call downtown Bangkok. And I've come here because it's definitely one of my more favorite places in Bangkok. And it's very easy to get to. If you're a BTS person, then you just simply get on the Silom line and get over to Saladang. If you're a MRT person, it's also very easy to get to. And if you don't mind the walk, actually, you can stay on the Suffice line and get off up near Suffice and walk all the way down. You walk past the U.S. Embassy, actually, and end up in Lumpini Park. And it's a great place in the middle of the city here. But I wanted to make sure I put this video out today. Today being the 20th of January. Monday, the 20th of January. And Martin Luther King Day. Because of him, there exists Dr. Martin Luther King Day. And specifically the holiday around that in the United States, specifically in California, which afforded me, working at the University of San Diego, a vacation day, a holiday, which I would frequently add to all of the holidays that I would take before that day, over basically Christmas break, if you will, which would be when I would take a huge bucket of vacation days together, and I would come over here to Southeast Asia, leading approximately 7 years ago to the beginning of my love for certainly Thailand, definitely Southeast Asia, but sort of continuing on with the series of So Why Thailand, Mike? So this will be part 5 of the series of So Why Thailand? But to the point of why today is important. So today, being Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, it would be basically the last holiday in a row, the last vacation day in a row that I was usually able to take, and the longest I was traditionally away from work at any contiguous amount of time. So there would be times when I would leave around Thanksgiving, and then I would come back, and then I would stay for 1, 2, sometimes 3 weeks, and then with the closure of the university around the week of around the week of Christmas and then around the week of New Year's, and depending upon when those two specific days fell during the week, it was, if we were lucky enough, the days fell when the organization felt as though, okay, well, if that's the case, then we'll close the university for the entire week, right? So I guess if it, let's say for the sake of argument, it fell on a Wednesday, then let's say the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's, we got both weeks off. So with that, you right there, there's 2 weeks vacation. And since I as an administrator, was given 24 vacation days a year, is what we would earn as part of our compensation package. Or I guess how you could translate that, that's approximately 5 weeks vacation, pretty much. If you were to take it all at once, right? But for the most part, you basically earn, if you will, 2 vacation days per month. So depending upon how you use that, if you use none of it, then you get 24 vacation days. So usually by Christmas time, I would have, 3-4 weeks vacation. So you add the Christmas and you add the New Year's week, and then 3 or 4 weeks ahead, before. I think the longest time I ever spent away from the office on vacation was a total of 5 weeks, because I know there was one time when I came over to Thailand and I had to get a visa versus a, well, okay, to be fair, I didn't have to. I could have come in on a visa exempt stamp and then gone to the immigration and then gotten a 30-day extension for 1,900 baht, but I wanted a visa for other reasons too. So anyway, I ended up getting a visa, my first visa, as it turns out, which was a B visa, which upon stamp in afforded me 90 days in the kingdom. So anyway, as part of that, I didn't have to worry about visa or whatever, but I stayed over here for a total of 5 weeks. So anyway, today is very important because I am not leaving today. And normally today would be the absolute last day I would pretty much be able to stay on vacation and in Thailand. And I don't have to leave today. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that, and any of you that watch the channel or know me personally know that that's one of the reasons is I don't have a job. I don't work. I resigned from the University of San Diego back in November. And so after 14 years, I said, you know what? I'd rather be happy than here. And it wasn't like, oh my God, now what do I do? It was like, no. For the last 7 years, I've been contemplating how in the world am I going to be able to make Thailand work as a place where I'm going to live full time. And interestingly enough, one of the sort of goals I had that I didn't realize the exact date I wrote down several years ago was I want to be in Thailand by April 2018. 2018 I want to be in Thailand full time. And that was a good goal, but I didn't exactly have, specific plans. I believe I set that in sometime in 2015 or 2016. So it was sort of like looking out, but at the time I wasn't like, okay, well, based on that, let's work backwards from there, and let's, work on a plan. So, without a plan, right, how do you get to your goals? And so anyway, there's also some, a lot to be said for, saying, okay, well, I'm gonna let the universe take over here because I actually don't know how this is going to materialize. I know it will, but I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to do, but I'll stay on the path, because when I'm on the path, then I get the gifts, and then good things will happen, right? So I like to think that I stayed on the path, and I did the best that I could, given the awareness that I had and the skills that I had. And karma kicked in, and I didn't really harm any people along the way. So gratefully, nothing bad happened to me. And I was presented with a lot more opportunity than I was disappointment. And so when the opportunity that I got from having horrible bosses to resign, when that came about, I said, well, you know what? I've been planning this for a while. I just didn't really know how it would materialize. Let's do the numbers and see if this works. And it worked. So I ended up here at November 2019. So effectively 18 months past the original goal. And I didn't realize that until recently. I was just sort of checking back through some notes. I tend to journal to some degree, and I actually review those journals at a later time. And so I was doing that and came across the one where I made the statement, and I want to be over here by April of 2018. And I sat back and I said, well, I got over here by November of 2019. That's not so bad, in my opinion. I'm not a beat myself up kind of guy anyway. But as far as I'm concerned, 18 months, that's not, I think that's great. So there you go. But right now, January 20th, I'm incredibly grateful for the fact that, again, normally, I'd be heading home right now. And I think I shared in another video. I believe I will put it here, the link. Can never remember how this ends up in YouTube, but regardless, to my video that I did last year when I was in the Hong Kong airport. I believe I titled the video "Feel Like My Dog Died," because, and to be clear, I've had a dog die, so I know what that feels like, and he was literally my best friend, so the statement's true. Alias was his name. I was like, okay, I'm in Hong Kong, and I'm flying back to the U.S. I'm flying home. And that doesn't feel right. It feels, I know I'm flying back to somewhere familiar and somewhere where I generate revenue and somewhere where I have a lot of acquaintances and a lot of friends, not just acquaintances. I have tons of acquaintances there, but I have a lot of friends there, which I'm incredibly grateful for. I have mentors there, my sponsors there, my groups of substance are there, what some people will call meetings. My life was there, and my ability to come here is there. So anyway, I was going home, right? But it didn't feel like it, and I was like, well, this is no good. I don't like this at all. But I didn't particularly know a solution at the time, so I thought, all right, well, okay, I'm going to do this, because when your vacation is over, that's what you do. You go home. So I was doing that. And it was also responsible, because I kind of like made the commitment to my employer that, hey, by the way, at the end of my vacation, I'm coming home. Because that's what we agreed on, and by coming home, you also agree that you're going to pay me, so that relationship works out well. That's a functional relationship that will continue. So anyway, I did that, but again, it felt like my dog died. I'm like, I'm leaving. I feel like I'm leaving home to go elsewhere. And, Gracie had already joined me in the United States 2 times since then. So it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm leaving Gracie and I'm never going to see her. No. Every time that she and I would part ways to go to our respective countries, basically, she and I had plans to meet up at least once, if not. And by that I mean, it's okay, here's the next time we're going to meet, and then we're going to meet like here, then we're going to do this, and then we're going to meet, then we're going to meet, then we're going to meet. So I mean, our future was planned for much like it is now. It's like she's coming back here, and then we're going to go there, and then we're going to do this, and we have reservations at places, and I have an idea of what I think the future looks like for her daughter. I don't know if her daughter's going to agree with it, but if I have my way, she's going to go to a university in Singapore and be an engineer. We'll see. We'll see what she wants to do. But if I were her, then I would be 13 and I would do what 13-year-old girls do, which is basically want a mountain bike. So I get it. But anyway, so I have plans for the future for brilliant young minds. Anyway, so I share a lot about gratitude when I'm with my peers, and since you viewers are effectively my colleagues, my peers, my sounding board, my support system for some of you, then I wanted to share this. I wanted to let you know that the feeling I have now is the feeling that I have of being home, of being somewhere where I want to be, of having freedom. And I always thought to myself, if I win the lottery, if I have an amount of money that is so excessive that it was just a gigantic number to the like 10 million, 100 million, 50 million, then I will have wealth. Well, let me tell you something. I don't have $10 million. But the freedom that I feel and the ability that I believe I have to live my life where I want, when I want, how I want, and to be healthy, thank God, thank you, Buddha, and not have to worry about where I'm going to get my next meal, that's true wealth. And setting on like a number and that sort of thing, I really sold myself short, and I wasted, I think, a lot of attention units on, this number and this number and this number. There's a minimum number. I get it. It's like, oh my God, I got $4,000. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to travel no, come on. I mean, there's a real cost to life. I get it. But I feel more free now. I feel as free now as I did when I was a lot younger and like the world was my oyster. And I set sail in my VW Golf, VW GTI, to drive cross country and start my new life in San Diego from Boston. I felt so free, and I felt like there was so much opportunity in front of me that whole time. And that's how I feel now. Now, the neat thing about now is that I'm 50-ish, no, 51, and I have what I believe is a number of lessons, a lot of knowledge. I still have the ability to make a whole lot of mistakes, mainly because it's a day that ends in Y. So I got plenty of opportunity to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. But I've learned a lot along the way. And I have some pedigree, and I have some check boxes like bachelor's degree, master's degree, and I've done this, and I've had, you know. But the point is that I feel like I've got true freedom right now. And that, my friends, that is the brass ring. That is what I believe is true wealth. Having freedom. Having this kind of freedom. Feeling like I have freedom. I feel free. And I hope you do too. And I hope you're living the dream. Because if you're not living the dream, you're doing it wrong. I hope you're living the dream. Ciao.